Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about using Dungeons and Dragons to understand Gen Z generation better. All right. So God love him. I have a wonderful son, and I'm just so proud of him. He's doing great. Actually, he really went beast mode the last 2 years on soccer, and he's really built. So he's in his 10th year of high school, and he's really just like he's shaping his life, right? And one of the things that shocks me is it's very different than my life. So one of the things is I read Lord of the Rings when I was 7 years old, and I never looked back. And there was some prices to be paid. Like, one of the things I did was I always read a book on the bus. Like, there would just be chaos going on in the bus, and I'd have my head down in, like, Philip K. Dick, really, right? So and people would like, Garibay, why are you always reading, man? I'm like, I like to read. And my son doesn't read novels. Like, he's actually the first Garibay. Our first two Garibay children read like crazy. They read novels just like me, right? Our third one delayed and didn't read for like 2 or 3 years longer than the other ones, and then found manga. And this isn't a joke. She will go to the library and fill 2 huge library tote bags of manga, tear through them in 2 weeks, and then start the cycle again. She reads manga like crazy. And we're one of those parents who are like, hey, we don't care what you read as long as you're reading. Right? So, and actually, I actually really like a lot of the manga that she reads, and I've read, I've kind of like picked from the cream of the crops that she enjoyed. But I also know a lot about manga because, like, whatever she would read, when we would take a ride in the car, I would say, so, tell me everything that's happening, and I'll know all these manga stories that I never read, and they're quite good. They're really compelling, and I get why my Gen Z, my youngest daughter, really likes manga, right? So my youngest son is a Gen Z, right? And the one thing did not understand is he will not touch written content, right? Like scripted content. Like he's like, Stranger Things, I don't know, man. Like, and I'm like, this is the best thing on television. What do you thought? What is the best thing on the small screen? Television doesn't exist. Side note, that's just Scott Garibay, my humble opinion, right? Television is dead. I don't think they're really fun. It's better to just say small screen. So I'm like, dude, this is scripted television. This is the best you're going to get. Like, this is amazing. What are you talking about? Like, come on, you're killing me here, right? And he just won't, right? And so then he goes and but he does watch stuff on YouTube. He watches a lot of commentary. Right now, he's watching commentary on Christian sermons. So he watches people go point by point as they go over some other YouTuber's sermon, right? And the reason why is he's aiming toward like West Point and becoming a chaplain, right? And I was like, wow, so he'll listen to that, right? But he does that while he plays a video game. The other thing he does is he'll watch meme compilations, right? And the other thing he'll do is he watches like Daily Dose of Internet, right? And he just will not watch scripted content. And I was like, what the heck? Why? How can you do this, right? Like, why are you just going to watch something on YouTube when you could watch, this incredibly well-crafted, high-production scripted television show? Well, I got my answer. So I have begun doing Dungeons & Dragons research, right? Dungeons & Dragons, click. Lego, click, right? Going forward, a Dungeons & Dragons, the creation of a Dungeons & Dragons campaign is you set down your D&D, your Lego, 48 by 48 gray base plate, and then you build up your D&D official Lego set, and then you take any other Lego official set, you put that on its 48 by 48 Lego gray base plate, you build a physical bridge over them, and then you bring those characters from, those official Lego characters, click, 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 right over the physical studs, over the physical bridge you built with both sets Legos, and they are connected, and you simply run your game with the terrain and the minis you already have, right? It's completely changed how we're running Dungeons and Dragons now, how we're doing terrain for Dungeons and Dragons now, how we're doing miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons. Everything changed the day they announced official D&D Lego, right? So, in my humble opinion, right? So I'm super excited. So one of the things, like, this week, I spent 45 minutes just, like, my eyeballs glued to I'm gonna link it below. Every Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set ever built, right? And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh. So the guy actually builds every turtle set, okay? And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set. And because D&D Lego is now click, 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 right? This is Dungeons and Dragons research for my game, right? Because turtles are a thing, right? And so I'll probably just be using the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles so I'll have turtles, and I'll have all these weapons for my turtles, which are all D&D, like Leonardo uses 2 longswords, done, right? So I don't have to change a thing, right? Which is great. So, but what really blew me away was how comfortable it was just watching these 45-minute amazing Lego builds. And basically there's multiple people who do this on YouTube now, is they just build the entire set. Their hands aren't even in the shot, right? And it's like it magically grows. And each one of them, like, just watching this beautiful, like, buildup of what will be Dungeons and Dragons terrain, right? And so I'm just blown away by this. And what I realized is I was like, so I watched all of the Lego Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sets be built, and then I watched all the Monster Fighter sets be built, and now I'm watching all the Lego Castle sets be built, and and it's been 4 days, and I haven't watched a single episode of Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power, and I'm on episode 5, and it's all up, and I should finish it, and I should go to the scripted content, but I'm watching YouTube shorts. Like, not shorts; these are longer videos. But I'm watching YouTube non-scripted content, just like my millennial son. And it's very zen. So I get, it kind of releases you, and you're like, because when I'm watching Rings of Power, I'm amazed by all these wonderful things, and I'm amazed by, like, every time Doran is on the screen, every time Doran's wife is on the screen, every time it's just terrain shots, I'm so happy. Every time Galadriel's on the scene, I'm like, this is the worst Mary Sue ever written in any show ever. And it's frustrating, right? And I'm also starting to realize that Rings of Power, the only way to understand that show is that the elves are the villains. Right? But there's like all this pressure releases when you're just doing D&D research and watching Lego builds, right? And so I kind of so by doing Dungeons and Dragons, I become a better person because I understand my millennial son better. I get why it's a release of the pressure of all the frustrations of scripted content. It's just a myopic view where a lot of this stuff is cut out. Like, and these Lego videos, they cut out the hands. It looks like magic, right? So I feel like Dungeons and Dragons has brought me to a better understanding. Helped me to understand something I really never understood before. Why my younger son doesn't touch scripted content. Thank you, Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons is a human improvement engine, in my humble opinion. What's your humble opinion? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.